So I hear you are all going remote. First thing I want you to know is it is not as bad as you think. Like with everything, I think there's a learning curve. And the first maybe even week, I felt like I was ready to retire. But I have to tell you that I really found my groove. I think things went really well, got to really know my kids. So I'm just going to jump into it and show you how my stuff was set up since Jody asked. And I thought it might be easier just to share this way because I can't add you guys as teachers to my classes. So we use Google Classroom, and I only post one slide a day. I do not put it in classwork. I put everything in the stream. So I'm gonna, and we've had some async days recently with, there's gonna be a mass change up in our district. So I'm just gonna kind of scroll down to where, and you'll see other people post sometimes in our classroom. My principal does announcements, which are outstanding. I love those. She does those every day. And then sometimes you'll see a, like right here, you see a reading interventionist that might share something right with one of our students as a reminder. But that doesn't even really need to happen because so this is what my classroom looks like. So every morning they join me in Zoom. I say good morning. We take attendance, which takes a while because they all say a couple things, and you know, younger kids are chatty, and it's awesome. I think a lot of the social emotional learning happens then, that just you care about their teeth or their dog or you know whatever is on their heart. So that will take longer than usual, but it's good. In my classroom, we always start out with our social emotional learning. In our district, it's second steps. So oh, I should say, important, you're going to want like transition songs because, for example, in the afternoon when they come back from lunch, it's going to take people a while. They might not all come in right away, so I always play a song. So link that somewhere in your Google Classroom. So like mine is right here. This goes to my blog, and if they click it, I come here and I say, okay, everybody, we're going to dance. And I play my music. I think I may have turned off the song, I hope. But we sing and we dance. We have a dance we all do. And then usually by the end of it, everyone's back in. So find places to link these things that you know about. Your students will eventually find out about it, but they don't need to know. So we have an empathy song at the beginning of second steps before I teach my lesson that I say, okay, we're going to transition to second steps. And I play the empathy song. And then I post my lesson down here. Sometimes it's a Google slide that I've made. Sometimes it's a video that I found online. I don't know what it was this particular day. Let's see. So I found a video about, you know, I don't remember what it said I was working on, feeling confident. So that must have been something I found. We shared, we write about it. I put them into breakout rooms a lot, and that has worked very well for me. I can give you tips on that later as well if you want. But this is where I have everything posted. So this is the only screen that I ever share with them. But we do things together. So you're together, but like, so for example, here are the lessons. I know that you are doing Lucy lessons as well. So if I just click on the reading, it brings us to whatever it is we did in reading that day. I found out from my own experience that I really liked that. So I started pre-recording my math lessons. And the reason I did that was because as I was playing my lesson of me teaching, I could look and see all my kids on the side, and I could see them counting with me. Or if I said, you know, show me really quickly what number goes with 4, I could see which kids immediately, you know, were putting up 6 fingers, or thumbs up if it's even, or odd, tell me what you think. So I'm able to do all those assessments really quick because I've already taped myself, and I can kind of scroll through and look at them. So I highly recommend that. Like that, I think helped me a lot. But I have everything in this classroom because the kids can get to this too. So if for some reason they're sick or they have like an internet issue, because yes, those are 100% going to happen for some of your kids, they can come back and find things. So like they can find, you know, the books you've been reading. I make slides a lot of times, like for, here's what we were doing for social studies. So I might plug in a video there, but they could find it if they needed to. I also, every day at the end of the day, I would have a reflection journal. This was so important to me. So they would fill this out every day, just something that they liked, something that was hard, and something about their day. My two things that I really cared about, well, I liked hearing good feedback about, because a lot of them really liked the math lessons that I was doing. So that made me really happy, or about the read aloud we're doing. But what I really looked at here was what was hard. So if for some reason someone said math was hard or reading was hard, I'm taking a note of it so that the next day in breakout rooms, I'm touching base with those kids. And then tell me anything you want is really cool, because when, you know, the next day you can say, hey, you know, Johnny, how did your game go, or whatever it was they were doing. Another thing I put in my classroom was a timer. So there's a lot of things hidden, and these are unveiled throughout. But if we're on a break and I say, okay, you know, you have 20 minutes for your snack break, go out and play for a little bit. They learned how to set up 20 minutes if they needed to here. A lot of them, you know, probably have an Alexa or a grown-up helping them, but that was another thing they had. But different things that we've covered, like we've talked about the zones of regulation. So everything in my classroom has a little bit of a link to it somewhere. I think I showed you where some of our reading specialist, this is a link to her Zoom, and I showed my kids that. So the kids that had to go see her at certain parts of the day would just come back into this part. They'd click on that. That would take them to her. Same thing over here for my English language learners. They'd click it and they'd go. When we were meeting and we'd come back, and sometimes I would ask them to share on Flipgrid. So everything down here that you see is linked to something. So that's it, I think, in a nutshell. But if you have any questions, just let me know. But again, the only thing I ever posted was one slide, and I think it really went well. And I can tell you, I have great data on my kids. I was able to do DRAs with them by sharing my screens. I would pop in for math, one-on-one quick assessments, which was awesome, because I'm there watching them and hearing their thinking. So it was really good. And I really felt like I got a good idea of what my learners are capable of, and everything. And we've totally formed relationships. We unfortunately have this big change out that's going to be happening with our kids, and I'm incredibly sad about it, because I have some really amazing kids this year. So anyway, if you need anything, let me know. I mean, I can even send you a copy of this particular layout if you want. I mean, no one's going to know that you're using a similar background as mine if you wanted to. But like I said, over here in the corner, I loved having my lessons linked there, because then I would just share my screen with them, click on it, and they'd find, you know, where things were going. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell, but sorry if I was too wordy. Good luck. Remember, deep breaths, and know that every single day, it absolutely 100% gets better. So stay safe and have fun.